amazing Indigenous streamers out there. I think they're changing the narrative of what this digital space for our mob is.
People are still rocking up, and people will just come on in as they please. But I'd just like to introduce myself. My name is Celeste. I work for an organisation called Indigitek, and we work to increase Indigenous representation of people in the technology industry. And so we are having our end of year event on Twitch, and we've organised this lovely panel with all these beautiful, deadly people. So I'll let them introduce themselves shortly. But, today we're just having a yarn about safe spaces for Mob Online and how to navigate them, and everything and anything nerd-related, basically. But we'll keep it casual, and we'll have a Q&A at the end. And if you would like to ask questions, throw them in the chat. And you're all welcome to yarn in the chat throughout the discussion as well. And, network away, have big yarns, and let us know what your questions are. Our deadly director, Ben, is also there waiting to receive your questions, and he'll put them through to us at the end. So, great. Yes, please keep it respectful and enjoy the yarn about safe spaces online for Indigenous people. So, my name is Celeste. I'm a Birragubba South Sea Islander woman from Far North Queensland, and I currently live in Sydney on Darug and Gurungai country. But I'll chuck it over to the crew now to introduce themselves and, who your mob are, where you're from, and I guess what you do. Amy.
So hi, I'm Amy. I'm a Wiradjuri girl from out in Western New South Wales near Uabalong. So my family originate from there, but I grew up on the beautiful beaches in Ceduna in South Australia along the Nullarbor Plains. But I moved to Sydney when I was 18 to go to university. And what do I do? Officially, I work for a university. So I work for UTS, and a lot of what I do is to encourage young mob to pursue higher education after they finish high school, at whatever stage that comes, whether it's directly after high school or if it's a little bit later on. Unofficially, I have recently bought a pair of roller skates, which I thought was going to be really good because I roller skated when I was 7. Turns out you can't pick it up when you're 26.
I just want roller skates too.
Yeah, we should go skating. Anyway, so really embarrassing. So,
oh my gosh, it's so hard. So hard.
Like my thick ass at the skate park with all those teenagers, and I'm like, I'm so cool. Ooh.
While you're like this, you're like, oh, sure. I'm sorry.
I'm alright. Like I can sort of do a little tricks, and I've worked out how to go up the ramps and stuff, which is good. I just put on like music, and it's mainly I just do it for the Instagram photos. I'm not really good at skating. I'm a real. But that's kind of it, really. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Keenan, you're up next.
I'm up next.
Thanks for sharing, Amy.
You're welcome.
Keenan Muir, I'm Yorta and Narrandjeri. So mobs from Southeast Australia. Grew up in Echuca, Shepparton, Victoria. Christmas every year at Kingston Southeast, where my grandma is. What do I do? I do nothing really.
No, you don't. That's a lie. Don't be
Officially,
Officially,
officially, I'm working in the public housing space.
Cool.
For our people, which is a lot. I've never worked in this area before, so I'm learning a lot. Unofficially, well, on the side, I run Indigenous, which is where a platform for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander creatives within the pop culture industry. So the first event we ran was the Australian chapter of Indigenous Comic Con in Melbourne last year. That was a lot. Let's just say that. But
Yeah.
I've heard there's some people in New Zealand who want to pick it up and roll with it. So hopefully this opens up a few doors for a lot of our mob.
Okay, cool. Deadly. Cat.
Sure. I'm Kat. I'm a Noongar woman living in Perth. My mob are Noongar and Merning. So I grew up around Esperance. I'm currently on Wajak Buja. And I work in tech. I work in product management. I used to be an analyst. I've done a bit of web devy stuff. I don't have a computer science degree, but I do a lot of techie things. And I also do a lot of activism. So I'm on the board of Electronic Frontiers Australia. I do a lot of digital rights, online privacy work, helping people and communities and activist groups build security cultures and just understand a little bit more about digital privacy and our rights in Australia. Yeah,
Totally.
that's me.
Okay. That sounds like a lot. Like a lot of things.
That's a short version.
Oh. Oh. Okay, cool. Thank you for that. And Ruby, lucky laugh.
Hi, my name is Ruby. I am a proud Lama Lama woman from Cape York, Queensland. But I am living and have been living on Kulin Nations for the majority of my life. I grew up in foster care, and I'm a foster care baby. But I mainly streaming at the moment, and I mainly work as a freelance artist. Well, sort of starting off as a freelance artist. So that's kind of my area that I'm kind of known for online is my art and stuff. But now just making a name for myself in the streaming community because I've loved gaming ever since I was ever since I was a kid and stuff, and wanted to like record my reactions and stuff. And yeah, just started like I think last year, and now yeah, here we are. Yeah.
Okay, deadly. When did you fellas start gaming, or like what was it about gaming that that made you, I guess, fall in love with it, or what is it about gaming that you love the most?
Who wants to do? I started.
I'll go first. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You
You
go
go.
first, Kat. No, you're right.
Cece's just like that auntie. Why don't you just go?
Can you just sort it out? No, okay, so I'll go first.
Yeah.
I'm a Libra, so I'll take command. So
I love that.
So I started gaming probably when I was really young. I never had like any of my own gaming stuff. But my brother's 5 years older than me, so he always had like the early Nintendos and stuff. And one of the earliest games that I remember playing is I always get it wrong. I keep like when I was a kid, I used to say Banjo Patterson, but I think it's like Banjo and Kazooie. Or Banjo and Tooie.
Yeah.
And I remember like my mum putting me to bed, and then she put the gaming console in my bedroom because she thought that like my brother wouldn't go in there and play it, which is true. But I got up, so she would put me to bed at like 7:00, and then Big Note and me would get up, turn the little TV on, put the thing in there, blow it, put it in, and then I played Banjo and Kazooie all night until like 10, like I was 7. And I thought I was like a real rebel. I was like, ooh, playing video games. And I kind of really continued that. Like when we first got the internet, I was really obsessed with online gaming. So I used to do a lot of RuneScape. I recently just got into World of Warcraft as well. And then now I guess, I don't know, what do I look for in a game? I kind of look for something, a little bit of escapism. Like I like things that are really roleplay heavy, or things that leave a lot to the imagination and kind of really open the world up. So I love like Skyrim. I do like collaborative games, I guess, like Rust and stuff, but Since I became an adult, I'm finding it increasingly hard to play.
So you're going to say increasingly hard to collaborate with other people?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
rude.
yeah,
It's
that's a mood.
stubborn-headed, but
That's a mood. Who wants to go next?
Yeah, Ruby, go.
Okay. Well, I started gaming from a very young age. I have siblings and stuff, and we used to play. We used to play like video games at a young age. And I was taught by like my younger brother. He taught me everything I needed to know about like games and stuff. And we had like almost every single console. Like the very first console that I can remember is just like the PS1. We went through the PS1, 2, 3, 4, up until like, and then we had like Game Boy Advance and stuff. And we had the Nintendo DS, the Nintendo DSi. Then we got a Wii at one point as well. So I've been through almost every single console and PC games as well. I used to play Diablo at a very young age. But I'm very into like first-person shooter games and games that have like a story to it, so a lot of campaign and stuff. So, and I just really like playing video games. I don't know. I used to play on PlayStation 2 Bratz. That was like the one game that I like first ever like finished and clocked, because obviously I loved the Bratz growing up as well. And then was into SingStar, bouting out the lyrics to my favorite songs and stuff.
I love SingStar!
Used to think I was like real deadly too. Used to imagine I was like on stage and just bouting out lyrics and stuff.
Yeah.
Thinking, oh god.
Yeah.
I used to have like Disney
For
singers.
real.
I used to like think I was in like a Disney Channel original movie and stuff.
That's so cute. Oh my gosh.
They've never done that before.
Yeah, you'd be lying if you haven't done that before. You haven't picked up SingStar. I still play SingStar. I'll be belting out ABBA lyrics and stuff too, because I bought it and I was like, yeah, it's gonna be dancing queen, here I come. And I play with friends and stuff, and they just like, I have one friend that would just like not let go of the microphone. Like she's just like, I'm not giving you it and stuff. But yeah, and then that's kind of where. And then I used to watch a lot of YouTubers and stuff, and that's how my interest with like recording like gameplay and stuff kind of like came from. I used to watch like PewDiePie and all that, like from when I was in high school and stuff. Doing it, streaming myself stuff. I started streaming because like I wanted something to help me like record like my gameplay. I wasn't like really too focused on like viewership or anything like that. It was mainly I needed something to record my gameplay, and that's where I basically started. But yeah, that's me.
Okay, cool. Cat.
I'll go. Yay. Yeah, same. I had an older brother growing up, and so we just had video games in the house from a really young age. I think we started with the NES and then Super Nintendo and N64 and then PC games. But I have really vivid memories of just not sleeping for a week and playing Ocarina of Time with my brother.
Yeah.
And that's just, it's such a vivid memory. Yeah, Banjo-Kazooie as well is still one of my favorites. Like, I actually picked it up the other day and played it again on, like, because I think there's a copy of it on the Wii or on, like, Xbox or something. Yeah, it holds up really well over time. Banjo-Kazooie. Extremely good.
Emulator.
Yeah. And then I got really into, like, hacking NES ROMs and pulling up like all the ROM code and learning assembly and like learning how to do palette swaps and edit tiles and stuff. And so making like, I made a little like Super Mario Brothers where you can play as Kirby and everything's really cute. So yeah, that's where I started. Just been playing video games for a long time.
Okay, cool. And Keenan, you're up next, obviously, but can you also chuck in there like how you got into cosplay?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So my first memory of gaming was I was probably around 6 or 7, and Dad brought me the Super Nintendo for Christmas. He took up most of the time on that, being a big kid himself. But I think it's a memory you have along with gaming. So over that, me and Dad started bonding a bit more over gaming. But from that, it just grew. I started doing a lot more gaming on PC, tabletop gaming, card games, getting a bit more into the storytelling aspect of gaming. So as for my cosplay, so that probably started when I met my partner, Hyde. We've both gone to conventions before, but her first cosplay was I think Sailor Moon, and
Yay!
yeah,
Nice.
I love Sailor Moon. This is my Sailor Moon bottle.
yeah, it was.
Oh, cute.
So she wasn't. At that top point in my life, I was struggling a bit with, my confidence and self-esteem, and that shame job mentality of being a young person. But it was her that taught me it doesn't really. You shouldn't give a shit what other people think, really.
Yeah.
TG.
So my first costume was, I think it was Arthur from Hitchhiker's Guide,
Nice.
and I picked that because I could walk around in a robe the whole day. So
That's
obviously,
That's
I
really
would.
great.
And from that it just grew. We started learning new skills. She started sewing a bit more. She enrolled in a theatre course on how to make accurate costumes. I started doing a lot more electronics works and armor building. But of course, out of that is PAX, the convention. So then that sort of circled back, and we started looking at some of the more classic games that we were into, like Banjo and Kazooie, Spyro, Zelda, stuff like that. And we started making most of those costumes.
Okay, cool. Deadly. Well, thanks for that, answering that question. I was just interested to know how you fellas got into these spaces in terms of the gaming spaces and these online spaces as well. But the whole reason we're here is to talk about safe spaces online, I guess, and that's all part of it, and what we're passionate about as well. So I guess, what does safe spaces online for Mob look like to you? Like, what does that feel like, or what has that been for you? Kat.
All right. So I was thinking about this, and I think like safe spaces to me means spaces like being able to have mob only spaces is really important, and there aren't that many of them available to us. Like, it's really cool having Blackfella Twitter, and that's how I've been able to meet so many people, but we're still in a space that isn't totally ours. It's still like a very super white space. So that's what that means to me, and that kind of safety to be ourselves and be able to express ourselves and share culture in a way that feels like really deliberate, and we're not sharing culture with anyone that we don't want to share it with as well. So that's what it means to me.
Yeah, because we don't have to share it if we don't want to.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people get confused. They get that twisted a lot.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
they're
it's
like
like
exploiting us.
Yeah, I think it's a really like white thing to be like, oh, all stories should be shared, all culture should be shared. Like, why would you keep something, hidden or secret? Like, it's no, this isn't for you. It's not the point. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's definitely right. One thing that I think translates from a physical event over to an online event is what we're talking about is having our own space. So, Indigenous Comic Con, for example, a lot of our policies and a lot of our, I guess, guidelines to come into the event is to respect the space, but understand the focus of the space is for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. And it's funny you mention that because I have found in the past when I have done events, there are a lot of other people who say that they're wanting to be involved in the event, but it's true. The events like that are needed in order to ensure that it's a safe space for our people.
Yeah, because
And just to
it's a
build on that,
priority.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just saying, just to building on that, I always really value a space where there it really is just a mob only space, because there's no longer that expectation from other people that you have to perform indigeneity
Yes.
to an acceptable level. Whereas I find with mob only spaces, like, for the most part, we can all coherently agree that the way that we are is the way that we are. Whereas I find with particularly non-Indigenous people in spaces, as soon as you put up that little flag, and for some of us, like myself, it's very easy to not be sort of instantly identifiable as Indigenous, which gives us a little bit of a security screen against people who don't have our best interests at heart. Whereas for other people, they don't have that. But as soon as you sort of raise that flag and you're like, oh, I'm Indigenous, or they notice that you're Indigenous, you then become unsafe for a whole host of reasons. It's kind of like all eyes on you. And you'll find even the most well-meaning people still make it so that all eyes will be on you for your opinion or for this. Whereas I find with mob-only spaces, that pressure and that sort of expectation to perform isn't there, which is what I find really valuable.
Yeah. There's not that pressure that you're like being Indigenous enough.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's a pressure that I mean, I usually, whenever someone's like, "Oh, you're Indigenous," and then I'm like, "All right, let's get this straight. Both my parents are Aboriginal, so where are we gonna go from here?" And then they're like,
Your move.
Yeah, so
Your move.
yeah, I'm like, now what? And they're like, oh, but did you grow up? No, actually, I grew up in a remote Aboriginal community, just outside of Ceduna. And they're like,
So what else you got? What else?
interesting.
What are you trying to say?
Language. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
like
yeah.
interesting. Anyway, yeah. So I love being able to just sort of very fluidly move within those spaces without having to perform or without having to fact check people.
Yeah, without having to feel like you have to explain yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Particularly like when it comes to gaming, because if you think about games that I like to play, quite often borrow culture from other cultures to portray the villain. Like one of my favorite games is The Forest, right? And the villain in that game are native inhabitants who are well, on the surface native inhabitants who are cannibals. And I just flat out refuse to play that game with like non-Indigenous people now because I'm just like, there's, you know, like, there's a lot. It's very detailed and like they just sometimes people just don't really get that.
Mm.
That's true, and it's still, it's still happening. It's like,
Yeah.
isn't there? There's a character in Apex or something that borrows some Maori tribal tattoos or something.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, I get that. I'm the same really. If it's a game where I've been questioning it myself, I just won't go near it with any of my online friends.
I think that's.
It's not worth it, and it's also not
Yeah.
worth putting yourself in harm's way to be yet again the educator of
Yeah.
things that we shouldn't
It
be
gets
educating.
exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and you're
my
not
second
paying me?
was wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now you
I'll
might-
invoice you for my time.
But also,
I'll invoice ya. I'll invoice ya.
Yeah.
but it's also
Bruno, I know
not
that you've had some a few run-ins. You had a few run-ins this year on Twitch, haven't you?
Have I?
Or is that just a regular
That's just
streaming?
a regular basis.
I don't know.
Not run-ins, just dealing with stupid people.
I deal with stupid people, anyway. No. Uh, so shit. No. I think in terms of I don't think because I don't think in terms of if you're talking about lobbies of games and stuff, it's mainly to do with the fact that I'm female. That's the thing, and like it's
Show us your
like they
tits.
don't like yeah, like stuff like that, or like they just get like, especially with COD lobbies, there's just like a whole different breed of like stupidity in there. You know what I mean? Like they've just like lost all common sense when they hear females in that game. But like it's kind of like, and I haven't had any issues because I have on Modern Warfare, I have the flag as like my clan tag. So but no one's ever mentioned like anything of it. Like I don't think people actually Jerry and stuff. There's only I had one comment from one guy who was like, "Oh, RxD, you should probably like change your clan tag," and I was like, "Nah, I'm fine, man. I'm good. I'm good." But I don't know. I haven't had any. I don't think the only run-ins I've had is just people being ignorant assholes in terms of like sexism and like just coming into my stream and being like, some guy came into my stream yesterday and was like, "Oh, this stream's shit," and I was like, "Why the f are you watching it then? Like, what the hell? Like, no one's forcing you to watch my stream. If you hate it that
Can't be
much,
that
get
shit if
out."
it's still there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I've just got to the point where if you're gonna come into my stream or on any of my platforms where I feel the most safe at, I will just tell you to like f off in the end, because I'm just like I have no energy to be like educating people.
Yeah.
I don't have the energy to be dealing with people. Like I shouldn't have to deal with people. You should just know as a human being to like shut your mouth. So I think that's just my approach to things. Is just like you don't wanna leave me alone. Fine, I'll just tell you to fuck off. And call you every now and then, something. I don't know.
But I think it
but
is your platform, Ruby, that is changing the narrative. Stuff like Indigitek and your Twitch platform and all of the other amazing Indigenous streamers out there, I think they're changing the narrative of what this digital space for our mob is.
Yeah.
So
That's why I
it's
started
props to
streaming.
you, Ruby.
That's why I started streaming, because aside from the fact that I wanted something to record, I wasn't seeing like when I first started streaming, like I didn't see anything that we have now, like with Indigitek and stuff. Like I didn't see that safe space, and that I really wanted, and then I yearned for so much. Like thankfully, I had my mate who's Milky Comment, and stuff. So she's also Aboriginal as well, and I was faithful to have her just joining me on the streaming journey. So, but it was just basically us two, and then we found, Indigitek, and we found all of you guys, and like found the community online, and we say it all the time that we're so grateful for it, because we have a place that we can be unapologetically ourselves and stuff. Like we don't have to tread on eggshells to impress people, or I don't want to ever be in a space or ever be signed to someone where I can't be myself, or I can't, Heidi. Sorry, I love Heidi. So I love her cosplays. Her cosplays are amazing. But yeah, like I don't ever want to be on a platform like that where I have to change myself to fit someone's narrative. Like, we shouldn't have to do that. Like, you should automatically accept me as who I am, swear words and everything. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it this year, and just in general, not actually just this year, but I mean, like, because I've always been a nerd, but I've never had anywhere to just relish in being a nerd or being a geek or like liking Star Trek and like like being in getting like really loving sci-fi and because I love sci-fi ever since I was a little girl. That's my father was a big sci-fi geek, you know what I mean? And that was never something that me and my sister could ever really talk about with other people. And not even other black fellas, because there was no other black fellas that we knew that was into that kind of stuff. And so, it's just been like in my line of work now, coming through the tech space and into gaming, it's been really, it's been really nice to meet other nerds, like for other like black fella nerds, and we can talk about Star Wars and like Mando and, like it's been really cool. So, I mean, and that was part of the reason that Barmy and I were just like, let's get this going, because me and him were getting slack for it too. You know what I mean? Like we wanted to link up and we wanted to get people involved as well, and Indigitek is the best platform to do that with. So, but I'm really glad you're all enjoying it.
Well,
yeah, it's great
place for us to communicate and play games with each other, or meet like other people that we can like play games with on the side and stuff. Not just for streams, but just to like chill and stuff. It's been great. Like I'm really grateful for the Indigitek community, because I've gotten to meet so many other people that are just like me and stuff, and I can like learn so much from all of them on how to like streaming or just like games in general, and and we have fun, when we're in Among Us and
Yeah. And we got a lot of skilled people in the community too, by the way. We got a lot of people with all different skills. That's what I love about it. Everyone's got something different going on.
I think it reaches a lot more people also, but because it is online, you're able to reach, I have a few nephews in Swan Hill where they can't get to Melbourne to a lot of these major conventions, so they start creating their own community online and doing their own thing, and I think that's I wish I had that growing up, but it would probably be like 2 hours slow with dial-up internet.
Text only.
And I guess like COVID. I guess COVID's kind of made it hard people to interact and physically engage with each other. So it's kind of like how have these platforms, and specifically within this time frame that's been an intense season of change for the world, but do you find culture and connection with within these online communities, within these online platforms?
So during like COVID and stuff, I think being online has been a really great way to like connect with my mates and stuff. So I have like all my mates and I were all basically we're all black fellas and stuff, and like some of us hadn't had met each other until like maybe last Sunday and stuff, when we had our little Kris Kringle Christmas thing together, and that was like the first time that we'd be like kind of seeing all of each other since we started playing like Fortnite together online and stuff. And we have a really close knit friendship, and it's because of COVID that like we've been able to like communicate with each other and just play games. And our relation, you wouldn't think that we just kind of like met each other like at the start of the year basically, sort of thing, because we're like so close together, and we just have a ball and stuff. And I think that's like one of the positives with, I don't even know if I'm answering the question, but that was like one of the positives of COVID, was the fact that I was able to like still stay in contact with people because of gaming and because of being online and stuff. Like if I didn't have gaming, I probably would have gone crazy and like would have had a few breakdowns here and there. Not that I didn't have any, but like a little bit more, and I would have felt really like lonely and stuff. And And it's because of like, you know, we just, and like it's pretty it's, you play with mates. Like I rarely play, like I will not play games on my own that much. I'd rather much play with like my mates and stuff because I have so much fun when I'm playing with them. I just end up rage quitting my games anyway and just getting offline because I'm just like, I can't handle these teammates. You're so gaming, you know what I mean? Like, oh,
It's like, yeah.
like, oh
Yeah,
god.
I just chuck the remote and run. I just like, I don't
Oh,
want the
yeah.
controller. I don't want that.
I'm surprised my controllers haven't broken. I probably like one's about falling apart and stuff. Like, yeah, but I don't even know.
Speaking
I've got a
of
question.
rage quitting, so Heidi will be jumping into Among Us.
Oh
I
yeah.
just got it on Switch.
Yes, they got it out on Switch.
It's weird
Oh,
on Switch.
that's so- is it? Oh, I want to see what it's like on Switch.
That light is weird.
I
So
just wanted to
she's,
bring it on PlayStation.
what number game would this be for you? It would have been my second time playing, and to be honest, first time I played, I was just like, "What? No."
Here's me going, press news, press news. And see the wire? It goes to that one. No, that one. No, that one.
And I was too slow voting, so they voted me off first.
Yup.
The last time we streamed it, that was my first time playing it on the Indigitek, on the Twitch channel. And then everyone, and then Joel, if you're out there listening right now, I always remember that lad.
Out.
He lied on me. He lied on me so hard. And like, I seen it. I seen the whole thing happen right in front of my eyes, and he just threw me under the bus. And then everyone voted me out, and I was so wild.
I once went to the bathroom,
Said
came back,
TG
and
and all.
voted out. Like, okay, guys. Like, I come back from the bathroom, you voted me out. Like, and I was
Bathroom is a
like,
sus excuse.
I didn't have to tell. I just left. I was like, I'm gonna go to the toilet quickly. Oh, sure, they're not gonna vote me out. Next minute, I voted out. Anyway,
I had to answer a call
Among Us
once,
stressed me
and
out.
they threw me out because I was playing on one phone and answering a call on the other. I was like, I'm just gonna stand here, and they're like, you're sus, you're not doing anything. I'm like, I'm on a call.
But it is these sorts of games like Among Us that allow a group of people to start playing. And then what's best about that, then when you finally meet them, you're like, I feel like I've told you my life story online, and we're like best friends already.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So I guess like what future do you see for Indigenous people in gaming? Like, what does Indigenous gaming look like?
World
Is
domination.
that a thing? Is Indigenous gaming a thing? You know what I mean? Like, what does it look like? What is the future of that, Amy? Or even just these online communities, you know?
On the spot. I know. I was like, watch. Cece's going to say something to me directly. What is the future of online for Indigenous communities? I don't really know. I wonder if it's something that it'll be innovative because we're such innovators. I think. I sort of wonder whether I don't really know how to answer the question. It's hard. I'm such a single player. Like I'm like everyone's like, oh, I hate collaborating. And I like The Sims, so like I'm not really the person to answer this kind of unless like you just want to watch me make the gay house of my fantasy dreams. Like,
Oh, I love that.
yeah.
Yeah, some people do.
Me and all my
Some people
lesbian
would love
Sims,
to watch
like
you do that.
that's
Yeah.
Absolutely. Make that content, please.
Yes, a big.
No, I think it'll be somewhere that's inclusive, a space where people can truly be themselves, but also is innovative. And I think, for anybody who's watching who doesn't really know me, I am just a big academic nerd. So what I'm going to say is really dumb, but it's going to be like deep and meaningful, but it's not. But so we have the seeds of communication so deep within us and in our DNA that I think the longer we do this kind of stuff and the more that we innovate online in the way that we set up Indigenous communities that are protected from, not outsiders, but you know what I mean. Outsiders, protected from the rest of Australian society for the meantime, and the way that we can innovate communication between ourselves and different mobs and different styles of life. I think that's really going to be so important for the future, not just of technology in a sense, but also the future of who we are as Indigenous people living in a digital age, where a lot of the times we are kind of really spoken over and we are not, not given the respect that we deserve. That's my answer to that.
Yeah, no, true. Our
That's a really serious
communication
answer.
cycle
I'm sorry.
has just been evolving.
And
the way
like
in
our
which we communicate
communication
and the
styles.
there's cycles that we go through. We go through many communication cycles, and I think these online communities are just a different form of that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I'll always mob always regulates mob. And it's interesting, and I love seeing that online, and I love seeing people come together. And at the end of the day, like, we're not museum pieces, we are consistently evolving, and that's just great. It's great to see people doing stuff online and pushing back on communities which we're not allowed into, that the gates are up, and just making our own community. I think it's great. Everyone who streams is an inspiration to me. I think you're all excellent.
Oh. It's like I was just thinking when you were saying like people that are opening the gates and stuff, I was just thinking in my head, I don't know, I just popped in there thinking about a moment in an anime that I really love where it's like a volleyball anime. You probably know what it is. But there's this moment in the anime where two of the players are being like pinned down by their heads by one of the other like opposing players, and then their teammates just kind of come in to like kind of like lift up this guy's arms, and he's like massive, and just to like help the other team members to like get up and stuff. And that's what I just pictured, like us mob helping each other to like rise up and take challenges. Why did I come in my head? But I just
anime's great. I'm a big anime nerd, so I'm like, that's excellent. Thank you for the analogy. I will request the title of that.
Oh yeah, you should watch it. How do you like? Yeah. Like I'll send it to you and everything.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, like I think that's such a good point around like. I was just thinking we fought so hard to feel like welcome or safe or comfortable or inclusive in tech or in these other communities and other spaces, and we've just gone, fuck it, let's create our own. And I want to see that in other spaces as well. Like, it's cool. It's so good that we've got this online Indigitek community. What would it look like if we just created our own kind of tech industry? What would it look like if we created our own Indigenous like game dev industry? Like, that's what I want to see more of. I think that'd be just so cool, because we need to fight someone or other spaces to say, hey, respect me, make me feel included, please. Like, where's your reconciliation action plan? And we can just say, like, mess all of that. Let's create our own stuff.
But that could be across a few different streams also. Like tech, film and it sort of got film and television already, but the comic book industry, tabletops, role playing, all of that sort of stuff. There's just a massive platform there, and it's. I really hope that because there are mobs all over doing their own thing, which is awesome. But if we want to really make this sort of movement happen, we all need to be on the same page and help each other. And if we all want to reach that goal in future.
And And sometimes getting connected is the hardest part, you know,
Yeah.
but also the easiest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's really,
Especially if you don't know where to look and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like, you know, you're kind of on your own and you're like wondering the online world, the digital world, trying to find like someone who's like, you know, in the same kind of like area as you and stuff. I think I'd like to see like, yeah, everything everyone else has said. I'd love to see like some stuff in terms of more like comics and more like even like graphic novels and stuff. Like I'd love to write my own graphic novel comic in the future about Indigenous like superheroes and stuff like that, because I love Marvel. I love the Marvel universe and stuff, and I want to see more of that. Or if I would love to get into animation and kind of make something that was like similar to like anime or like Avatar, Last Airbender, like all these superhero like Winx Club and stuff like that. I want to see female. I want to see more characters like all the characters that I grew up with. You know, I want to see myself represented in that kind of media. I want to see myself as a puppet fairy. You know, that Kevin.
But can we not talk about Winx Club, because I'm wild about that?
No, Celeste, we gotta have a whole yarn about that. I'm mad. Why?
Amy, did you ever
no.
watch Winx Club?
I did, but I
Oh.
don't know what this recent controversy is about.
Have you seen what they're doing? They did a live remake. They did a live remake, and they put the trailer out. And have you seen it?
Oh my
No,
god, I
actually,
did.
I
watch it.
The
You need to
least,
watch it.
Like, fans out of this whole group, I'm like, Winx Club trailer. I won't look at it now. I was going to, but I realized we're streaming.
No, watch it right now. I want to see your reaction.
I was like,
Yeah, sorry guys, it's really important.
No, but watch it and then message me, because it's like not what you think it's going to be at all.
Yeah, message me as well. I want to know,
rock
because
up
I
in
was
the
random about
dark.
it. Oh my god.
I have a lot to say. I'll have to have a big think about it, and I'll come back with an essay.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
The
In
cons,
conclusion,
there's no pros at all. But yeah, sorry, I don't know. I don't even want to go into it right now. Whitewashing, they got rid of Tecna, like, anyway.
100. It's so dumb. But
Surely,
anyway.
like, I don't understand whitewashing, because surely you would learn, like, as if there isn't enough backwash backlash in the community. Yeah. That, like, surely if you're like a producer, you're not like, should we like make them all white? Is that gonna be a good move for us? And like, surely someone's like, hello, no.
yeah, well,
No,
that-
active choices. But that's what I'm saying. It's active choices. These are active choices that people are making.
They don't even call it the Winx Club. Like, don't call it Winx, just call it shit. Oh,
Shit club.
Sorry.
Period.
Period. And that's all
like
period.
Okay, well, you know, it's nearly 6:30 now. It's 6:24, but it's not 6:30. We're finishing the panel at 6:30, then we'll do a Q&A. I know no questions have come through, so I'm sure we can just yarn it out, and then we can head into Among Us for those who are at home and joining us for Among Us after this. Stay tuned. But I guess my last question is, what are those important things for people to remember when engaging with our communities, and engaging with us on these online platforms and spaces? Like, what is that one thing you just want people to do or know?
Don't approach me because I'm Aboriginal, please. Don't approach an Aboriginal person because they're Aboriginal. Approach me because you saw my content and you want me, not because I'm Aboriginal, because that pisses me off. Like, I'd rather someone watch my content and be like, maybe not, or be like, oh, maybe have conversations with me. Don't approach me because I'm Aboriginal and I'm throwing shade out there. Sorry. But no, it's just really frustrating because I want to, like, as a streamer, I want to be recognized for my content, you know? I don't want to be recognized because I'm black and deadly, you know? Like, I know I'm deadly, you don't have to tell me. No.
It's a given. The black and the deadly is a given.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, but like...
Yeah, okay, no, I feel ya.
Because then it just looks bad on, like, you. It looks bad on the person that's approaching me, or looks bad on the person that's, you know, contacting all of us and stuff, because it just shows that you're not even taking into consideration the content. You don't really, basically shows that you don't give a shit initially. You just want a token black person, and we're not all about that. And also, you should probably know that black people talk. Okay, we talk. So, so yeah, don't approach me because I'm black.
I mean, look, honestly, Ruby just summed up it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ruby said it. Or like,
Then now.
if you do want to approach us because we're Aboriginal, then you can. I'll send you an invoice. You know, like you can pay for it.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, I
going
mean,
to.
there's that many online
for free.
resources that it's kind of ridiculous. I feel like if you're approaching Indigenous people in this day and age with this Creative Spirits is not an online resource. Just by the way, do not go there.
Yes.
Not an online resource. Yeah. Anyway, I think I don't know. I think please be respectful that we are all vastly different people with different interests. I am much more interesting than where my cultural heritage lies. And personally, I will not share it with you because it's not yours. It's mine. It's mine. My little knowledge gets wrapped in a little blanket, and I take it to bed at night, so you don't get to take it. But like I would much rather someone ask me about what I'm studying or what I do for work. What kind of houses I'm building in The Sims or anything like that. Like, I just please remember that we are different people with different interests beyond our culture.
Ask me my Fortnite stats and everything. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing I request of people that want to approach other like black fellas and stuff, because it's just you look like a fool.
Yeah.
Although if you are a black person and you would like to talk to us, that's a different issue.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just to clarify.
That's all right. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Give me a DM. Find me on Instagram.
I'll open my DMs for you, but you only.
Yeah. No, you're right. Come on in.
You're right, cuz. Come on.
Yeah.
Who you bob?
Now remember, if you come here twice, it means you're not a visitor anymore, so I expect you to be doing housework.
Yeah, oh god. Here you go.
Okay, cool. Well, it's 6:30 now. If we have any questions, people who are at home viewing today, chuck them in the chat. So we can get some Q&A happening. If there is no questions, I guess, how are you all feeling? Do we want to, jump into Among Us? I know it's Friday. What's today? I keep thinking it's Friday, but it's Thursday.
I know, it's Thursday.
What the hell? I thought it was Friday all day. Doesn't even make sense.
I know.
I'm gonna go
next week is Christmas. Far out. Next week is Christmas. Can you believe that? Holy shit.
I know.
No, it's not. Next week.
Was just
It is.
It was
it's next Friday, Kaden. It's next Friday. Holy shit. Shit about Christmas.
So I'm gonna go. I'm sitting in a very hot room. My susus is sweating, so I'm gonna go and have a shower.
I love it.
This has been great. You can find me on the
all good. Well, thanks for coming along. If you're not joining the Among Us panel and playing with us later, really appreciate you guys being on here today and having this yarn with us.
There's one question there.
One question.
Oh,
two. One question. Oh, two question.
How do you feel? Oh wait, are there still serious challenges for LGBTQI Indigenous mob within the mob?
Yes. I don't know if anybody else here is LGBTQI. Anyone else want to answer this question? Because I will go on about it.
Oh, go ahead, take the floor.
Go on then.
Go off. Have your turn.
I will. Sorry, I will keep it very brief. In short, yes. I think it's very. I think when you're young, and when you're online, it seems that there isn't. Though there is very little. Like, there's a lot of connection and there's a lot of community, particularly amongst Indigenous people and queer people. If I like to identify as queer, but I know that has a lot of negative feelings for a lot of people. So I'm sorry if that upsets you. I don't mean to offend anyone, but I think it does. It is super complicated because, unfortunately, due to colonization, our entire existence across Australia is so tied to the church and is so tied to missionaries in ways that is very hard to untangle culturally, and it's very hard to untangle socially and emotionally as well. So I think there is still a lot of work to do, untangling all that kind of stuff, because I'm just trying to keep it really brief. But basically, when they came in and they established a binary, and that binary was that it was a woman and a man, but also male and female, which we know now, and we have always known that that's not the case. There's diverse genders all across Australia, all across through mobs, and some mobs might not have had them. It's kind of hard to know now, but like we've always had a space for people, and you could take that as you will, but whether you're trans or whether you're a brother boy, a sister girl, you might be non-binary, you might be, gay, lesbian, pansexual, intersex, everyone in our communities had a place and a space. And that's something that I hold on to. So when people try and challenge the way that I feel or the way that, so like my siblings non-binary, whenever people try and challenge them, I try not to think about it too much as them being sort of homophobic or transphobic or anything like that, but rather they have yet to untangle their worth and their meaning away from the impact of colonization. And that's not on you to untangle for them. That's for them to untangle. Like their shit's their shit and your shit's your shit. But yeah, there is a lot of challenges, but just remember that there's always been a space for us, and going into the future, there always will be a space for us.
Yeah.
I
Ooh.
think I got really brief. Yeah, it was like, a little bitey little nugget for everyone to go home and reflect on.
That made me think. I'm thinking about things. I'm
I
currently doing some
really
self-reflection.
I'm sorry, I'm like so intense.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Anyone else want to add to that before we move on to the next question?
No, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So the next question is, how do you feel about non-Australian Indigenous cross-pollination with your own work? As in, do you prefer those of us from other Indigenous communities maintain a clear distinction in deploying the term Indigenous community, or do you think we have enough in common to treat it like an umbrella term? That's from Tale of Two Rabbits.
I'm just getting up the question
Those
because I
of
need
us,
to read it.
as in, do you prefer those of us from... I can't read it again. Can you see the message
Yeah,
in the chat?
I don't.
Yeah. Look at it. Chat.
Bear with
I
us, Tale of Two Rabbits.
Oh,
I'm just
okay,
looking
I
at
get
the
it.
comment there
So,
says Stacey is looking so good today. Thanks,
from
solidness.
across.
Hey, don't tell her that. She's gonna get a big head now.
Come on now.
It's already big.
Yeah, this is like,
Okay,
late.
I'm happy to answer this. If anybody else wants to answer this, I think I've got a good grasp of the question. But I've answered so much. Please, somebody else.
I
Well,
was gonna say.
from what I see,
No.
I think it's what is being created, right? Is that what it's asking? Whether it's if you're obviously if me Yorta, if I wanted to create a game like Never Alone, where it's focusing on my language and my practices from my from Yorta Nation, then that would be a bit weird if we had a storyteller coming from WA to tell us how to run it. I would think that's a bit strange, but obviously, if you're trying to get something, if you're creating something new, trying to get that up. And like I said before, if you're doing it as a collective, as a mob going forward, then is that sort of what it's asking?
I think it's asking if you are a First Nations person not from Australia.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
What do we feel about the term Indigenous community? Do we have enough in common with people who are native to other land masses?
I reckon we do. I think so.
Yeah, I think the impact of colonization is so destructive.
Yeah.
That ripples across nearly all Indigenous societies.
Yeah, 100%.
I think you can
It's
always make
definitely a
it.
shared
You can,
experience, right?
yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
definitely. But you can
So I
say
feel like
like
a lot of us
international.
also share the same oppressor. A lot of us share the same oppressor as well.
Yeah,
Really good point.
Her Majesty.
Crown.
I
You
think.
know,
I think. Just to cap it up, I think you could say like Indigenous, like international Indigenous community, or you can localize it. So the Australian Indigenous community,
Yeah.
or the Wiradjuri, even the Wiradjuri, like we're a big mob. There's a lot of us, but the Wiradjuri Indigenous community or the Yorta Yorta Indigenous community, you can localize it. Just put something in front of it, I reckon, just to make it clear to
Yeah.
everybody.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
just like the mobs here, we're all same but different. And I think that goes for our mob across the, our brothers and sisters over across the world. And I think it's, and I like feeling like I'm a part of a community like that as well. I like knowing that there are other people across the world and in different countries that are similar to us, and even like use the same terminology as us, which TikTok is. That's what I'm learning on TikTok. We share a lot of the same terminology with a lot of different Indigenous mob around the globe, which is
and like non-verbal language, like the I'm like, oh my god, like wow.
Yeah, true.
These people speak my language.
In USA, well, their mob just wave like that. I thought he was waving at me. I went like that back. Didn't even know me.
I just got that.
There's one more question on here that I just want to get before you go. When will we see more expansion of Indigenous voices into the TTRPG space?
Is that tabletop?
Yeah.
Role playing? Is that the role playing? Yeah.
I've never played any tabletop. Is Gloomhaven tabletop? Vaguely.
I think so.
Vaguely. I don't know. I won't answer this.
When we see voices everywhere else, that's just the thing, though. It's not just gaming. It's not just tech. It's everywhere that we're being denied access, and I think it's, I think that goes the same for every industry and every space.
We just gotta start knocking down doors and getting in there. It starts with one person, and
then it comes back to that conversation around we can't be fighting for seats at tables where we're not wanted. We have to build our own.
Yeah, like if you're not, I don't know, if you're not seeing anything in these areas of if you're not seeing like yourself represented in any kind of area, then you've got to, if you have that initiative, you got to go out there and start somewhere. You can't just we can't just like be sitting back and waiting for someone else to do it. If there's some sort of space where they definitely need like the Indigenous representation, especially with us mop and stuff, we just got to start it. We can't just keep relying on other people to do it for us, or hope that someone's gonna come in swinging Spider-Man swinging and doing it for us and stuff. We've got to start that. We've got to do that. And if we have the community like what we have around here, like then we can kickstart that stuff. But it's obviously it's going to take a long time. I can't speak for because I've never played any kind of tabletop role playing kind of games and stuff. But what I can say is we got to start somewhere. And if you're not seeing it anywhere, get people together, have some conversations with people, and let's get shit started. Let's stir some shit up, man.
100%. We don't need to.
I want to see Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. No, we don't need to wait for anyone's permission. we don't need to wait for someone to say like, hey, I reckon you should
Yeah.
just do it, build a community, start making stuff, find people. There's no need to kind of wait around.
Although I will say, if you are a bit unsure of where to start, and you do still feel a bit shame putting yourself out there, I will mention that the best thing to do is to have a look around, see if there's any other allies out there. For example, I'll give Games Laboratory a shout out, who are here in Melbourne. They've reached out to me to see if we can do something with Indigenous. From that, who knows what can be created. I think it's this new generation coming through who do understand the importance of having a diverse voice within, in this case, the tabletop industry and the diverse storytelling. I'll also give a shout out to Phoebe Watson, who's doing some amazing stuff with Dragon Bear Studios. Her stuff around storytelling and how she's input that into her gaming and game developing is just amazing. And I just hope there's a lot more pathways for our young mob coming through who will have this opportunity to do things like that a lot more in the future.
And have all this whole world of opportunity just open to them, and I think that's what my hope for the future of Indigenous gaming, or just for Indigenous people and young people in general, is just to be able to have options. Be so good at so many things that the hardest part is choosing what you actually want to do.
Exactly.
And have access to all those spaces. That would be my ultimate dream. I think that, you know what I mean? Like, Okay, well, I mean, it's 6:45 now. Has anyone got any other thing to add? Any other things you want to chuck in there before we kick it to Among Us?
Yeah, I just wanted to add on the whole creating safe spaces and spaces for like our young people and stuff. I was having a conversation with Milky Comment and another mate of ours who's Indigenous, like New Zealand, Maori. I don't know if I'm saying it right.
Maori.
Maori. But we were having a discussion and talking about why we wanted to start streaming and stuff, and why we were, and like talking about like what we were experiencing and seeing in the streaming community, in the Twitch community, and talking about how we wanted to create spaces for young people who wanted to get into streaming, because at the moment the spaces that we have in the Twitch community, or just in any sense of like the streaming community, they're not safe spaces. And that's, I think, that's one of what, like, the thing that's kind of, like, pushing us forward. Personally, for me, pushing me forward is because I want to create spaces for the younger generations and stuff to come through and just, do what they want to do and do what they love in terms of streaming and stuff. Because they can do it. They got it. They could do it, And also because we need more of that, but also because like young people want to see themselves represented in media, and I talk about the importance of representation in media all the time and stuff. And if kids are seeing themselves online or in like film and television, in books and art and stuff like that, it empowers them to do something, and it empowers them to, push on with their dreams and stuff. Where if they're not seeing themselves, they're just like, I'm never gonna make it there and stuff. That's why it's so important for like all of us here today, and like I was gonna say older generation. I'm not that old, but all of us, like, coming into these spaces and stuff and creating these, opportunities and pathways and stuff. Like, we're lifting the arms of the big oppressor and letting our young people come up to like do a spike, and trying to make a volleyball reference from my favorite anime, but and I think that's the great thing about Blackfellas is we always want to give back to our community. Like I talked about this with my like artist friends and stuff like that when we were creating our products and stuff. at the end of the day, we want to just give back to our community, because for us Aboriginal people, like, our community is like basically our foundation. It's what, empowers us. It's what helps us grow and stuff. The people around us we just essentially want to give back to our community because they've done so much for us and stuff. And it's just, I think
Our
Yeah,
community
Megan.
across the ages too.
Mm.
There's for the past 5 years, I've been running the Kura Youth Summit. Not sure if anyone's heard of that, but there's a saying that one of our members said, which is, we don't think for what we're creating right now. We think for what this impact will have, 7 generations in front of us. But it's also, how do we utilize this space to honor our past? So it's not just our community right now, it's our community across the ages, across the multiverses, across the
multiverses.
many wormholes out there.
There's an alternate world where we're doing well, there's an alternate world where we're kicking goals, and we're just gonna I don't even know where I'm going with that.
No, but I think about that all the time. I'm always like, I wonder what my alternate Celeste is doing right now.
Legit. I think in another life I was a mermaid, not even gonna lie to you now. I was a mermaid in another life, I'm telling you right now.
Okay, well, I'll wrap it up. We'll wrap it up there. So that's been a big yarn today, but it's been a really nice one in comparison to a lot of the corporate ones. I know that a lot of us do have to do during the year. But thanks for coming on the panel today, and I appreciate your time and your voice, and thank you for being here. So I guess we'll wrap it up there. Everyone who's watching at home, stay tuned because we'll have an Among Us streaming shortly. But yeah, thanks.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.